Thank you for joining us on the China On podcast. My name is Chris Hine, and look, I know the video looks terrible. I don't even want to be on video for you people, but I got to get the clips, okay? I need to give Ty some videos so he can clip it up, give me some little clippies, and scatter me to the internet winds like some ashes out of a Folgers cup, okay? So, I need the clips, and it's getting me thinking about the clips because we just filmed a handful of episodes for Ike's podcast, Prime to Rise podcast. And let me show you something here. So we filmed this in the studio, uh, and he's getting look at this. This clip's got 4.4 million views. This other one's got 100,000. Boom! It's taken off. People from all around the world are reaching out to him, and so I said, you know what? I'm a little jealous, okay? I need some clips. I need millions of people to watch me ramble in my garage at night about things that I really am not qualified to talk about, but I need that. So that's where I'm at in my life. And we'll chop this up and we'll start a little TikTok, and then I'll get really good at dances. And yeah, we'll go to all kinds of places to do these dances. We'll go to retirement homes. We'll see if we can get any of the people with the walkers. Um, who knows? Maybe we'll take it a step further. We'll go to some crematoriums or morgues, and we'll say, "Hey, you just bought a $17,000 casket. How about a dance?" And we'll see what we can get from that. So that's why I'm doing this video. I know the background looks like shit, but hey, we're trying it out. Oh, look at that. My whole shoulder disappeared for a second. It's actually pretty impressive how far back it can go. I'm in a dark garage. I'm in my gay garage right now. Uh, and these doodles that I drew are hiding a Honda CRV and some bicycles. So, um, yeah, this is where we're at. We're trying it out. So, Ty, go ahead and chop this stuff up and let's get me a couple mil on the Instagram and let's hit this TikTok game hard. I'll start dancing. I don't give a shit. Let's get some sponsors in here too. Also, if there's anything we talk about on here, I do actually want to hear from you, believe it or not. So if you want to, leave us a voicemail on our pod inbox. It's podinbox.com/chineon. Leave us a voicemail. All you do is you go to it, you click on this little recording button, hit start recording, send it to us. We'll play it on the show. I actually want to hear from you. The only problem with YouTube is that all the comments are just telling me that I should stop doing this podcast. And that's fine, but that doesn't actually motivate me to do anything or to look at any comments nicely. But sometimes Ty checks out the comments and they're helpful. Yeah, and the episode that we put out with Ryan, we just or with Ike, we talked about just some of the basics of what's going on in construction and things like that. And he just told a story about how his boss told him to throw out any resumes with GPAs higher than 3.7, and the whole internet just basically said that we were anti-education and we should take this down, and we're very stupid. And you know what? They're fucking stupid. They should have listened to it. It was a great interview. But um, yeah, anyway, so we'll circle back to that because there's really interesting stuff that he's been bringing up on this show, just in terms of uh, like the differences and the knowledge gaps that are about to happen as uh, every 7 people that leave the industry in construction right now, one person comes in. So yes, it's a people gap, but it's also an educational gap, and that's pretty fascinating because he's getting people that are sharing stuff from like New Zealand. Some guy was like, "Yeah, this is exactly what we've been talking about. This is a big problem." So this is happening around the world. So this isn't just local to the U.S. This is something that's it must be happening around the world, and you're seeing it in all industries. You're seeing it in the marine industry, see it in the aviation industry. There's tons of AMPs. The average age of an AMP mechanic in aviation, I think, is like 62 or something like that. So the average person is 62, and you know what? And sometimes you talk to like it I don't know. Sometimes like kids are fucked up And maybe if you're younger and you're listening to this, if you feel like you have like a problem where you can't do this or you're not motivated to do it, you got to figure out how to get over that. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But also, if for the older people listening, you got to share that knowledge. You got to pass it on. You can't be too reserved or whatever. Like I'm talking to some yacht management companies now, or guys that have been managing yachts for like I don't know 20 years, 20 plus years, and they're like, "Yeah, I need this to be mine. I don't want to share this with anybody. This data is mine." Like I get it, but also like it doesn't really work. You're kind of hamstringing all of these industries. I know you think that it's a better way and that you build something, and I appreciate that, but share the knowledge, man. Anyway, that's my little tangent. It has nothing to do with what I want to talk about, I don't think. But one of the main things that I've been thinking about lately is that you have to tend to stuff in your life if you want to have a good life, if you want to enjoy things. It doesn't make everything easy. And in fact, a lot of times it's hard, but it's usually less difficult than the alternative. All right. So, how the fuck do I explain this? All right. if if you go as you go through life and you start to find things that you want to do, like, so I'm 30 now, but take yourself at, but if you're listening, you're like 20, 21, 22, something like that, and you want to accomplish something. I think of it like this now: life is long, but life is quick. So you have a much bigger window of time. So, all right, you're 20 years old. I'm talking to you. You have a much bigger window of time than you actually think that you do at that point. Because when you're 20, you can't really see the future. Like, unless you're some sort of savant and you probably just think you know. Or you're like I was, and you had no fucking clue what you wanted to do. And that's okay. But you have a long time, but that time disappears very quickly if you don't do what you need to do. So as you want to move towards things and you want to achieve goals and you want to hit things, that time ends up running out. And also the opportunities that you want end up running out in their current capacity. So, for example, like when I was younger, I wanted to be in a band. I wanted to have that as my main career. I thought that that would be the coolest thing. When I was in 10th grade, I saw Pepper playing a show in New York, and I was like, that is the most fun I've ever seen adults have, ever in my whole life. Like, I've never seen something like that. I want to do that. And I had bands, I did a lot of stuff, and I tried to make it work, but I really kind of held back. I didn't go all out with these things. And so I achieved some stuff, like we recorded EPs, we recorded albums, but I never kind of got it off the ground, and it was always a bit of self-sabotage. I don't have like crazy self-sabotage habits or anything like that, but just little things that prevent you from actually achieving what you want. And over time, that time erodes. And what I realized was I wasn't doing the things to move the ball forward consistently. I wasn't tending to those things that I needed to. I had a thing that I wanted. I wanted to accomplish this goal, but I wasn't putting in the things that I needed to do: the consistent practice, the consistent writing, the consistent improving your vocal cords, the consistent improving your guitar skills, all these kind of things that you need to consistently work on over and over and over again. They don't fucking end. And that sucks. And a lot of times, what I was looking for was that I would hit something and then be done. And it's okay, I think, to be temporarily done. But as you go through life and you hit these next stages, you realize that it doesn't end. It never ends until you're fucking dead. And so that's something you got to kind of come to terms with. And when you're younger, it, you don't have to come to terms with it necessarily when you're younger, because when you're younger, you don't really think you're going to die. And I don't mean that from a perspective of I am literally invincible or immortal. I didn't think that, but you don't understand that death actually happens to you. And it didn't happen for me until I had a baby, because I had the baby. It didn't even happen right away, but it was like a few months, maybe 3, 6 months in, that I realized, like, oh, okay, I was a baby at one point and now I'm here. Oh, my parents were a baby and now they're there. My grandparents were a baby and now they're there. My great grandparents, now they're dead. My great great grandparents, all that. They started off at this point and so did I. Oh, shit, this runs out. This thing that we have, like life, literally runs out. And it doesn't mean that you now are in this mad panic and you have to go, 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 do all these things super fast and be frantic about it and be afraid of dying, all this stuff. But that timer runs out. You don't get an infinite amount of time. And so when I say tending to things, if you have a goal and you want to go places, you've got to work at it consistently. You do have to come to terms with the fact that it's not super easy. It's not simple, super simple and straightforward. Sometimes things suck and you got to move through it and you got to work past it. Um, and you have to keep putting in the effort, because the problems keep coming, the problems keep arising. If you don't do it, things start to fall apart. Like, the reason why I'm thinking of this is because today I got home from a vacation. There was weeds growing in the backyard, and I had just pulled up weeds on the patio a month ago. Like, oh shit, I got to do this again, and they're here, and so I'm pulling them up, and I'm pulling them up, and normally what I would do is look at them and be like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to deal with that. Um, Maybe I'll do it a different time and push it off. But what happens is those weeds get longer and longer. The backyard looks worse and worse. And I start to like the backyard and all those things less and less. And that starts to have an impact on how you look at the world, how you um, kind of perceive your self worth, how you um, come to terms with how you treat yourself, how you move forward in the world, like what you want to accomplish. Like, if I can let this go and let these weeds grow and let these problems get bigger and bigger, it makes it more and more likely that you're not going to go ahead and solve those and not tackle it. And it's like working out. If you want to work out, you want to do it pretty consistently because it makes it easier to get started that time. Because if you stop, you start getting a little fat, you start getting a little slower, your brain's not firing as good as it could. And then when you try to do it again, like, the chances of you getting injured are higher. It's harder. It's fucking sucks to get back into it. So if you can keep that going consistently, you avoid those weeds from growing too much to where you don't want to do it. It's not worth it. You look at your body and you're like, well, I mean, my body's shot, so I'm not even going to do it. It's the same thing with whatever the goal is that you want to do. Like, I get this with music all the time. I want to move it ahead, but then you do it, you achieve something. Hey, I recorded these songs. Great. Now, when's the next one coming? Well, I don't know. Uh, I'll probably get started next week. Well, that's a whole week that's gone by that you're not writing, you're not doing these things that you probably should be doing if you want to move the ball forward. And now it's even harder to get back into. It's harder to get back in that swing of things. It's harder to get the lyrics going. It's harder to get the guitar going. It's harder to put these things together. It's harder to be more original with your melodies, with your rhythms, with your riffs, with the verses and where that comes in. Do you want to start with a verse? Do you want to start with a chorus? Like, all of those kind of things get a little less difficult to get past the breakers when you do it consistently, when you tend to the thing that you need to do. Um, yeah, and it's look, it does suck. It sucks to come to that realization that there is not an easy path. I always was looking for an easy path. I always was looking for something where I could figure it out, and then once I figured it out, it was done. And it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. And it is probably fortunate in the long run, but it's a tough realization to come to. I'm behind the ball. Maybe everybody knows this. I don't know. I didn't know it. And I knew it in a superficial sense, but I didn't know it in a real practical sense. Um, so yeah, that's my thoughts on that. If you have anything to weigh in on it, I would actually like to hear it. If this got you thinking of anything, go to podinbox.com/chime on, leave a voicemail. We'll play it on here. Um, yeah, I would love to hear from you and hear what your thoughts are on something like this.